A very good evening and welcome to the India Development Debate. I'm Tamanna Inamdar and we have quite a show lined up for you today. So let's tell you what's on the cards. We're going to start off by talking about an event that everyone has their eyes on for tomorrow. That's Reliance Industries' 43rd AGM. Now, why should you care? Why does it matter? Well, because at the last AGM, Mukesh Ambani promised to go debt-free by March 2021. He's beaten that estimate by several months. In the meanwhile, got mega investments in Jio platform, even in a post-COVID world, and everyone wants to know what he's thinking is the next big thing. So we'll get into those details ahead on the show. We also have an exclusive interview lined up for you with the man who's ensuring that Maximum City gets back on its feet. I have BMC Commissioner Iqbal Singh Chahal on the show, and he's answering some tough questions about testing, about when things can truly reopen again, and of course the Dharavi formula. We're also going to take a bit of a deep dive into the big political story of the day. Sachin Pilot has been ousted from the Congress party after his rebellion. Will he hit back or not remains to be seen. But meanwhile, we look at the trend of a number of youth leaders exiting the Congress and why it's happening. We also have an excerpt of a great interview with Stephen Roach, very well-known American economist, lined up on the show. So all of that coming in. But let's dive into the big story of the Reliance Industries AGM. All eyes on the event, which begins at 2 in the afternoon tomorrow. The market, of course, peeled to it because Reliance Industries is a heavyweight on the index and will lift all boats. It now has a market cap of more than 12 lakh crore rupees, and a lot of this is because of the mega investments that have been coming into Jio platform from marquee investors, even in the post-COVID scenario. It has also helped Mukesh Ambani, along with his rights issue, to reach his goal of being net debt-free way ahead of the deadline. Let's first go across to my colleague Ajay, who has been tracking the story very closely on what can be expected tomorrow. Ajay, what do we hope to see from Mukesh Ambani tomorrow?
Well, that's correct. It's a very important day for Reliance Industries shareholders in a long time because of the factors which are converging before this AGM, the 43rd AGM. Let's focus on the consumer businesses. Jio Platforms has conducted a spree of record deals, over 1 lakh crore collected, marquee investors as well as technology companies coming in. And the expectations are very high of understanding from Mukesh Ambani in his speech at the AGM. What's the road ahead? Jio Platform, what kind of growth and scale-up plans does Jio Platform have, and what kind of partnerships and synergies are they actually wanting to have with these guys who have come in now? On the other end of the consumer businesses, Reliance Retail, would that be the area of value unlocking from here on? Street is already pegging it close to 3.5 lakh crore in valuations versus just over 5 lakh crore in valuations for Jio. So this is another big hefty business. How are the technologies at the back end merging as one big commerce play? Reliance Retail has been growing very well, but the omni-channel network which it aims to build across the country, JioMart, etc. People are very curious about things and how scale and capital allocation will be handled at these two consumer businesses. So people would listen to the speech very closely for cues. And of course, there's also a buzz of overseas listing of Jio Platform in the next 12 months. So all these are things people will be focusing on very closely in this speech.
You know, I have a broader perspective on this, Ajay, and also why the story of the Reliance AGM deserves to be on top of India Development Debate this evening. That's because I think it's very important to see what Mukesh Ambani's commentary is on the economy and his own business plans going forward after the whole coronavirus pandemic has hit since the last AGM. I mean, the whole world has changed. So how does Mukesh Ambani look at it? And that's the reason I think it'll be an important event. Sanjiv Bhasin and Sudeep Bandyopadhyay join me now on the show to break it down. Great to have both of you on the show this evening. Mr. Bhasin, let me come to you first. on why you think the AGM is that important, and do you think it's going to make a few things clear, including whether retail is the big bet, the big next bet for Reliance Industries?
Yeah, hi, good evening. So what more can you speak about Reliance, a stock in the last 4 months, which has doubled in market cap, which has taken the market cap by the neck, that is 12 lakh crore. It also tells you that, the Reliance chart is perfectly mimicking the NASDAQ chart. And it tells you that the smart money, which is now actually boycotting China, is headed to India. And most of it, 80% of it, is coming to Reliance. So there is nothing much to say, and I think the AGM will again be it's a function and so on. But hats off to Mukesh Ambani. He's made not only Reliance and shareholders proud, but he's made the entire Indian fraternity proud that here you have a stock or a index which has definitely been led by Reliance. And I think he can add further color by giving us what his plans are on Google, what his plans are of Geo platform listing, and fourthly, it's the slow evolution of an energy company now into a technology company. And Tamanna, right now, it's technology which is ruling the roost. You're talking of the big five becoming $1 trillion. And here you are talking of 12 lakh crores, and we are making all gaga about it. So I think miles to go. The real encashment will be what the future plan is of the geo listing and so on.
Yeah, Sudeep Bandyopadhyay, do you want to come in with your sort of opening comments on why tomorrow is key and what really can be expected? We've all been talking about how the stock is run up. Is there more upside now? And what are the kind of triggers that you would look for to see a further upside in the stock?
Absolutely, Tamanna. I think I'll add to what Sanjiv is mentioning. There are a few things which I'll be definitely kind of waiting and watching at the AGM. One, I think, is the deal between Reliance and Saudi Aramco. The oil to chemicals business, we haven't heard much in the recent past, but we understand when the last quarter results were declared, it was mentioned that the diligence is on. And that's going to be, again, a landmark deal. People are talking about an 18 billion deal there, whereby Saudi Aramco will take a significant stake in the oil to chemicals segment of Reliance Industries. That will be, again, a separate company. Let's see how that pans out. And some announcement pertaining to that, I'm sure, is on the cards. The second, as Sanjiv mentioned, the listing plan for Reliance Jio platform, I think it's, again, very, very critical. I think the listing should happen in one of the global exchanges, and it should start fetching a valuation like FANG stocks, and that's the real game changer for Reliance as well as India Inc. The third thing which I'll be looking for is obviously the value unlocking which may happen at the Jio fiber and the Jio tower level. There is a tower asset and there are fibers, and value unlocking can happen in both these two segments. We'll have to wait and watch what happens there. Is there going to be any announcement on that? The next important thing, obviously, is the strategy ahead for Reliance Retail as well as JioMart. I think it's a huge business, and I think the next year can be the year of Reliance Retail and JioMart. There is a absolutely stupendous opportunity which Reliance probably will look at capturing, and there will be again value unlocking. The last but not the least, there is a transaction brewing between Reliance and the Future Group, whereby it's being talked about that Future Group and in its entirety will be acquired by Reliance. I think that will add significant muscle to the Reliance retail business, and some announcement on these lines on this transaction also will be awaited.
Absolutely. Sanjiv, let me come back to you. And you were very optimistic and excited about Reliance's performance in the last few days, and a lot of that has happened because the company has managed to pivot just in time. It's almost prescient, to be honest, just in time from a focus from oil to technology. at a time in the world when oil has not been doing very well and technology has been soaring. What are the challenges up ahead? Because sometimes it is as if there are too many eggs in too many baskets.
Well, it tells you, Tamanna, that Mr. Mukesh Ambani has a huge vision which is ahead of time. 20 years back, when he went into refining petrochemicals, he realized that an energy-starved India would be the cornerstone for such a large population, and growing day by day was energy. And so 20 years back, you heard Patal Ganga and Jamnagar and all that. Now he realized in the last 3-4 years that no longer is energy the wild card. It is all about technology. It is all about data. And that's what he's been, unrelentlessly following. So there was always the overhang of a huge debt burden and so on. And lo and behold, in less than 1 year, he's given way to that. The lockdown has unfolded the reality of data and digitalization, which is now going to be a reality of all our lives for the future. And thirdly, the bigger ping point has been that China has been again sidelined. So large part of the investors, which are global and in all phases, private equity, Facebook, Google, all are making a beeline. Challenges ahead? Well, one of the platform with the tie-up with Facebook and WhatsApp is going to be on the Kirana front, on the crores of people who are going to take. So technology support there, then having a via media of payment, all these three things can be very, very vital, and they need to be fine-tuned as and when they start to operate. Because this lockdown has proven to us that everything can be done through the digital mode, and how fast can companies, gear up to the need of the hour. I think that will be the only bottleneck or the little hazard which you can have, and operating, systems which can, behave and match up to the type of volumes you're going to see. But I think otherwise, I see no negatives for Reliance, at least for the next 3-5 years, as it starts to unleash its, like Sudeep pointed out, the other value parts, the sum of parts, and starts to give a return on equity, which is going to be positive with the debt overhang finished.
Sudeep, are you seeing it with the same kind of rose-tinted glasses that Sanjiv seems to be seeing it? He's saying, I see no negatives, no challenges for the next 3 to 5 years. Let's focus a bit on the retail space as well, which is extremely cluttered in India right now. Do you think that that's the next direction they will head in?
Tamanna, I think in any grand plan, the execution becomes extremely critical. So like we have seen Reliance Jio, I think since the launch, there were lots of question marks. I think all of us had our doubts, how this business will start making money and things like that. But once they got the execution part right, I think, we have seen the magic which it can unlock and bring to the company. I think pretty much the same will be attempted as far as the retail piece is concerned. And they are putting together pieces of the puzzle now. We have seen the Reliance retail stores across the country getting developed and starting business, I think about 3-4 years now. There are multiple pieces in the retail business. There is the Kirana store model. When there are electronics, there are other retail. And what they are now doing with the Facebook tie-up is bringing in WhatsApp for integrating the Kirana stores with the entire retail business. And that's what they are calling the Jio platform's cornerstone is going to be. The next piece of the puzzle was maybe a little upmarket food, grocery retail, as well as other pieces of retail which were missing. To an extent, the future acquisition, if it happens, will bring the private label competency in the non-food areas. And I think that's going to be extremely critical for enhancing the margin for the entire retail business going forward. I think, as I mentioned, they're laying together the pieces of the puzzle. Maybe 1.5 years, we'll again start seeing significant value unlocking and revenue generation of an unparalleled scale through the retail. Look, if you look at the world, which are the largest companies in the world, they are Walmart, Amazon, likes and the likes. And what do? They're in retail. So retail, end of the day, is one of the largest business which a conglomerate can get into. Of course, you have to get your execution right and the model right. That's what Reliance is attempting. And I'm pretty confident seeing their track record that they will achieve it. It will take maybe 1.5 years, but they will be there.
Well, the Amazons of the world now have to watch out perhaps for a new player on that end. The plans are always grandiose and larger than life when it comes to RIL. Let's see what's in store for the AGM tomorrow as we await the commentary coming in. Thank you so much, gentlemen.